Hi, it's a Lipstick Gal. Thanks so much for watching today. I'm just getting ready for work and I thought we could do it together. I already have my scrubs on. I always hate putting scrubs on after I get my makeup done, so I'm glad I've got my work clothes on. During the tail end of the Sephora sale, I picked up this foundation. I saw a good review about it. I was really curious. I need more foundation, like I need another hole in my head, but I couldn't help myself. This is a new Basma stick foundation. This is supposed to be a natural finish foundation that has medium to full coverage. And I was like, okay, I like medium full, not always. But this looked really interesting. I ended up with the lightest shade. Here's hoping it's not too light. I feel like, although there are 40 shades, I feel like it was hard for me to decide which one to pick. And my local Sephora, which is not really local, it's like 70 minutes away, doesn't carry this brand. And I didn't know it's a newer brand, but I was like, let me just go out on a limb and order the lightest neutral shade, which just happened to be the lightest shade, and we'll go from there. So this, I don't know, it might be a little light, but who knows? Maybe blending it in might actually be good. Or I don't know. Interesting. All right, so I'm just going to work on one side of my face. I have a bad feeling about this. We'll see where we end up. Oh, this is too light. Okay. I feel like it was really hard to pick my shade, but I guess I feel like I'm doubling down now. I'm going for it. I feel like even if I end up, you know, with a shade that's too light, I want to see what the formulation is like. And if I like it enough, maybe I'd be willing to exchange it for a better shade match. But this is definitely too fair. Talk about Elizabeth I makeup. I feel like I'm putting on white lead paint. Here's half my face with it on, just using a synthetic brush to buff it in. I feel like it's keeping it from getting to be too heavy in places. I don't feel like I'm getting it kind of stuck in certain areas. Like, so I've been dealing with a little bit of dryness. We're going through a transition from colder weather to warmer weather. My skin always freaks out. And oh, it is building up a little bit here in the corner. I wonder if I just use a smaller brush, blend it out, if that's gonna help. Or if it's sticking to dry patches in the corner. I think I need a good exfoliation. Overall, I feel like you can see how it does take down the redness, how it does perfect a little bit, but I don't feel like it's like full coverage, which is what I'm looking for. I don't want it to look like I'm wearing a mask. I do feel like you can still see like some of the small, you know, small hyperpigmentation spots, even this blemish here, but it's definitely too light. Let's do the other side, but with a damp sponge. I always feel crazy when I'm scribbling it on, but here's my damp sponge. I almost feel like this is easier and faster to blend with a kind of a synthetic buffing brush. I could be wrong. This isn't taking too long, but I feel like it's really thinning it out. And that may be what you're looking for, but I want to see what the finish is like, you know, compared one side to the other. I think I'm preferring the brush because it blends it really quickly, and I feel like it's distributing it nicely. I feel like the sponge does an okay job, but it's definitely thinning out coverage. And on the places where I do want just a little bit more, I'm getting a little bit more of that with the brush. It doesn't look heavy. It does look very natural. It's not matte, it's not too radiant. It's just like right in the middle. And I think it's funny how, you know, 2015, 2016, everything was like matter than matte. And then we went kind of over to the glass skin. We wanted to be like glowing, look like a glazed donut. And now we're kind of swinging back to the middle. We want it just to look like skin. But I feel like this is nice on my 48-year-old skin. I already have my skincare on. I have, you know, some hydrating serums. I have a moisturizer and a hydrating SPF. So I do have a lot of stuff down. I didn't put a primer down. I felt like I had enough on my face already. And I feel like this is sitting nicely. I'm not having problems with things pilling up underneath. Just something to keep in mind if you use a lot of skincare like I do. All right, I'm gonna throw on some of the Hourglass Vanish Concealer. Boy, this is no joke. I feel like I need just like one small dot and put a little bit here. I don't know what happened. I like got a breakout. I hadn't had a breakout in such a long time, and I had this moment of like, oh, I'm doing so good with my skincare and washing. And my skincare, you know, changes as I need it to, but a lot of times, you know, I'm still washing my face every day, and I have been for decades. I don't know why I was so proud of myself. And I feel like it was pride that brought up this blemish on my chin. I was like, look at me, I'm doing so good. No, it was like, humble, time to be humble. But she's almost gone, which I like. All right, I think what I'm gonna do, this is such a pigmented concealer. I have been like surprised at how much pigment it gives. I also have been liking it better, this one and the new one I got from Tom Ford, when I don't use my hydrating under eye corrector. I do have a lot of, you know, darkness underneath my eyes, and I feel like I'm always riding the balance of covering it up just enough without it looking, you know, too bright, too white. And I feel like if it's completely gone, then it kind of doesn't look natural. I'm going to use this small brush. This is the Sonia G Jumbo Worker. And I'm just going to go over the top of this foundation here and kind of just work it into a few places where I feel like I need, just like on my nose. I'm in and out of glasses at work. I'm a dental assistant, so I'm wearing eye protection. I'm wearing a mask, and I want to see how this works. I don't wear a mask all day like I used to, thankfully, but if I'm not actually in an operatory with the patient, I can be walking around the office without a mask on, which is nice and gives my ears a bit of a rest. But I do like the finish this is giving. I like it a lot. One of my favorite powders to set my under eyes with is this one from Beauty Pie. This is the One Powder Wonder in Uberlucent Universal. I really like this. I also, this is silly, but I like these little, they're kind of like puffs. They have the same sort of the feel that you would get from a puff that comes in a cushion foundation. It's not velour. I do have some velour puffs for the rest of my face for like loose powders and stuff. But I got this on Amazon, and I like how well it fits like right under the eye. I think that's good. I'm going to use this velour puff, and I'm going to lightly set the rest of my face. My goal is not to overdo it, but I am in a fully powder since I will be in and out of that mask, in and out of glasses today. I find that when I fully set my face on a work day, it gives my foundation a better chance of hanging on. So we'll see what this looks like. I know there's a huge difference in what this looks like to what this looks like. So let's bring it back to life with a little bit of bronzer. I have fallen in love with this Gucci bronzer. This is the lightest shade in 01, and I didn't think I was gonna love it this much, but wow. What a great job this does of adding color to the face without being too muddy. And I see now, I always think I'm really fair until I try the lightest shade, and then it's like, maybe not. So the lightest shade will work for me in blushes and bronzers usually, but not always in foundations or concealers. Although the one from Hourglass is the lightest shade, and I think it works pretty well. But I was like a little bit more brightness underneath the eyes. I think that I definitely got the wrong shade in this foundation stick, but I want to see how it wears, and if I like it, I'll trade it for something else. One thing to keep in mind with this is that it is very heavily scented. Is it a violet smell? I don't know. It smells like their lipsticks. I don't find this Gucci blush to be really scented, but this is so scented. It reminds me of the lipsticks, but this is like you opened up grandma's powder. I don't know, that sounds bad. I had a very elegant grandmother and wore minimal but very lovely makeup. And so to me, smelling like grandma stuff, my grandmother had the most beautiful things. So I don't know, it's not a bad connotation, but it could sound bad depending on what you associate grandma's powder with. I'm pulling out this Laura Mercier blush. This is one in the shade Chai that I got during the Sephora sale. I'm still trying to make sure I'm trying everything. I have favorites, like instantly, like that Gucci bronzer, yes. And I'm trying to make sure that I'm not just hitting like my faves, because I feel like the Danessa Myricks blush that I picked up is definitely a little bit more my instant fave compared to this, but this is such a pretty formula and a really nice color. I had a lot of people recommending this formula to me, and I can see why it's really lovely. This is kind of funny, but I love that it doesn't come with like an applicator. I know not all blushes do, but sometimes you'll get, and I think the Gucci powder here is a good example of, here's this, and then underneath is this, and I don't know, do you ever use these like little applicators that come with things like this? It reminds me kind of more of like drugstore stuff, and I feel like high end. I remember the years when Clinique and Lancome and Elizabeth Arden used to have places for like little applicator brushes, especially for blush, and we used to use them. Like, I'm a child of the 80s, I remember that, but they were never good brushes and they never did a good job and they were always too small. I would much rather, you know, get one or two really nice brushes and use them for application than have wasted space in here, packaging I'm not gonna use, everything gets bigger to hold the package. No. Love this, how small and compact it is, and the color is beautiful. I've been reaching for the Rare powder highlights so much, I was like, time to reach for something else. So I'm gonna grab this today. This is from Beauty Pie. This is their Triple Beauty Perfect Glowy Powder. This is the lightest shade. I like it. I don't know if I love it. I recently saw that they were coming out or have just come out with like their summer collection. They have a new kind of rose gold eye quad. They have some new gloss, like the Wonder Gloss Collagen lip oils. I love that formula. They have some new shades, I think 3 new shades, a peach one, kind of like a rosy color, and a re-promote of their Sun Hazed, I think from a year or two ago, which I absolutely love, and I'm almost out of somewhere around here. I have it and I love it. And I was like, no, don't buy anymore. You just bought so much makeup. But they also have a cream bronzer. I don't know, it's really interesting. A kind of a glowy cream blush. And I just bought 2 of their cream blushes, like they're right here. I just got these in April. And I'm like, oh, Beauty Pie is coming for me. And I know it's purposeful. It's starting to feel a little bit more like ColourPop with the constant release of makeup. I appreciated Beauty Pie more when they had a kind of a more mindful release where it wasn't like every week something new is coming out. And I feel like recently they've been ramping it up, but it's not always makeup. Sometimes it's skincare. Sometimes it's like hair care or body care. And sometimes it's like their vitamin line. And I'm just like, guys, just give me a break. Give me a break. But there've been a lot of things that I've been really curious about, but I've kind of skipped. I don't know. Tell me, how do you feel about like the rate of how things are coming out? Sometimes I am just so overwhelmed. Now, my channel, I do this because I enjoy it. I love that my channel is growing. I'm having more opportunities, but, oh, there's a cat here. But I definitely sometimes feeling like, as I'm trying to keep up, looking at new makeup releases from like all across the spectrum, it can be overwhelming. How do you handle that? Still that rogue cat hair. Ah, got it. But do you see how pretty and light this is? This will be just perfect for today. Here's that lip gloss and Sun Haze from Beauty Pie. I put a little bit of it on. My lips are feeling a little dry. But I love the smell of these. They smell so nice. And this color is so pretty for like a sheer nude in summertime. It's the easiest, like I'm running out, putting on my big sunglasses, and I need a little something on my lips. Perfect for that. And also great if you're doing like a strong eye look. All right, I need some eyebrows. I'm using the Sculpting Brow Tint from Make. It has this enormous wand and I always have to roll off all the excess product on there. But when I get this like just right and I don't get it everywhere, it makes me look like I just went to the salon to get my brows tinted. So I love it for that. This also has some really nice hold to it. So I don't know, I'm fighting. I feel like this product overall is a fail just for how hard I have to work to get it to be useful. But I feel like I get perfect brows with it when I get it just right. There is no way that I can pull this straight out of the tube and apply. It would be a disaster. So at this point, I feel like I need a little brush. I'm gonna pick up some excess from the back of my hand here and fill in a couple of spots because I feel like I have some gaps. This is my really thin and sparse eyebrow. I'm gonna leave it there for now, but then all of this gets thrown away. That's kind of like also, it just feels really wasteful. I don't know. Do you have this product? Have you tried it? I like the way that it holds my brows. I like the way that it tints my brows. I just wish more of it got pulled off the spoolie. I would use it and rave about it because I like, you know, I got brows with just one product. Love. It's hard unless you have really full and voluminous brows. And if you do, then you probably wouldn't need a product like this anyway. I just accidentally leaned into the back of my hand and now I have makeup on my scrubs. Oh, I don't have time for this today. See what I'm saying? It's a lot of hassle. All right, I'm gonna keep going. I want something easy. You know what? Gucci bronzer for the eye for today. Talk about a lazy girl's option. I love that. I do a lot of this, especially in the summertime. You know, a little bronzer in the crease, a little highlight on the lid, and I'm out the door. I feel like it also makes a really pretty monochromatic look. Highlight for the lid. Like in one brush. I am so lazy today. That's okay. Is this where I also admit that I've worn this exact thing to work like 3 times already this week? This is like day number 3. Oh. Which is why when I buy a purple eyeshadow palette, I ask myself like, what are you doing? You know you don't wear makeup like this. I want to. I aspire to break out of my neutral comfort zone. Before I get any farther, I'm going to take some of the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, spray my face, let it dry. I want to do this before I put on mascara or eyeliner. So if my eyes start to water, we are set. Since I'm in and out of a face mask and glasses throughout the day at work, I really need my makeup not to go anywhere. Because the thing that I dislike the most is getting towards like halfway through the day, I take my mask off at lunch, and then I realize, oh, guess what? I have no makeup on my nose or chin because it's all rubbed off. And setting spray, well, setting my face fully with powder and then on top of that, adding a setting spray like this has really helped. And for years, I didn't really go for these, you know, long-term wear of setting sprays. I wanted something glowy and dewy. But once I started working, oh, I guess it's been a little more than a year now, back in March last year. And I was forever in a mask. I was like, either never take the mask off or I need something better to hold things in place. And this has been kind of like my go-to. If you have a favorite long wear setting spray that doesn't dry your skin out too much, 48 and definitely feeling, you know, like if I wear this setting spray 3 days a week for work, it can be a lot on my skin. It can be a little drying, but let me know what your favorite one is that holds everything in place and doesn't dry your skin out. You know me, I am looking for an eyeliner that I can put above my lash line, in my upper waterline, blink, and will not transfer. We'll see if we found one because someone recommended the Aqua Resist from Makeup Forever. I used to have a whole bunch of these, but that was like more than 7 years ago. And they did okay, they just weren't like my favorite. So when they finished up or they dried out or I decluttered them, I never repurchased, but I know formulations change so quickly. People are constantly reformulating, repackaging. So this I'm sure is a formula I have not tried yet. I have the shade Iron, number 3. And I didn't want to go for something that was, you know, like a straight brown. So it's kind of like a charcoaly gray. I'm going to start by lining my upper lash line. I don't want to go too crazy here. I couldn't tell you how many brown eyeliners I had when I was doing my eyeliner declutter. And I was like, this is a travesty. You need to start branching out and getting different colors. And then I'm going to kind of go in between the lashes to kind of blank out those gaps between the lashes. And then I'll curl my lashes and then throw some in the waterline. A lot of times, because I don't want the transfer from the upper waterline to the lower waterline when I blink, this is all I'll do. And it's okay, but I really like it when I can like get all the way to the back of the waterline. It makes my lashes look that much longer. Now my eye doctor doesn't like it when I do that. Just saying. So I've been watching a show on Netflix. I just finished it and I was kind of pulled in because it looked interesting and then I couldn't stop. I was like up late at like 2 in the morning, like what happens? And I was so sad that we're only 8 episodes. It's called The Diplomat. It has Carrie Russell in it. And you might remember Carrie from like Felicity or The Americans. But I really love her work, especially The Americans. I thought that was such a fantastic show. And she's such a good, strong female performer. Love, love, love. And this is interesting. She is working for the government as an ambassador, but she really specializes in Middle East negotiations and relations, and she's put in England. And something happens, and it's just like how she's trying to kind of overcome all the things that are being thrown her way. And it's such an interesting, and like, it kind of is a peek behind, and I don't know how accurate it is, but it reminds me of all the things that happens behind the scenes that sometimes we never hear about, that our government is doing. All the potential things that they keep from happening, you know, the negotiations that they're making to keep everybody happy. It's just so stressful, and that looks like a lot of work. But I love how she plays somebody who's struggling with her personal relationship with their spouse, all the like things that are required of being a woman. She's like, I don't want to wear a dress. I always want to wear a black suit. I want to be comfortable. And I was like, dude, the older I get, the more you are speaking my language. I don't want to be in high heels. I don't want to be in a dress. Although I do love having moments where I get dressed up. I just can't be as comfy as I am. Like, nothing is better than pajamas, right? And I think that quarantine taught us that we love our comfy clothes. And so seeing her fight against the whole, you know, getting your hair done, makeup done, putting on a dress to kind of create this, evoke a feeling from people around you. I'm like, I'm not doing it for you, I'm doing it for me. And if I'm not gonna do it for me, I'm not gonna do it. So I really loved that aspect of it, but it's a really fast paced but dramatic story, and I love it. And Rufus Sewell plays her husband. And I think it's funny that he's British, but in this Netflix show, he's playing an American. He does a great American accent. I've been so busy and so stressed this spring. Like, dude, March hit and I was going like 100 miles an hour. Tail end of February, I had one of my kids do a music competition. And then after that, we've had music recitals, sports in the evenings and afternoons after school. My kids work. One of my kids is working. The other one just signed up to do a competition later this month. They play violin in a quartet. I'm just like, oh, all the extra practices, all the extra running back and forth. My oldest had signed up to audition for the talent show for the high school. And then I was like, when are you going to have time to work on that? And she's like, yeah, you're right, maybe not. I was like, see, please, one less thing would be awesome. So I'm using the Cali Ray Come Hell or High Water mascara today. It's a nice tubing formula. I was so close to getting, there was a duo pack for just over $30 during the sale. And I was like, no, you have so many tubing formulas. You already have open, use what you have. They'll probably have the duo pack again in the fall when the next savings event comes up. Do not over purchase. And I'm not sure if this is like my holy grail tubing mascara right now. I'm still in love with the one from Hamish, the Smudge Stop one. But that one is not, you know, as easy to find. I can order it from Olali. I think I might be able to order it from the Walmart website. I would love it if I could walk into my local Walmart that's like just a couple minutes down the road and walk into the store and get it. I can do that with the Hamish makeup remover, the face balm. But I can't do it with anything else from the brand. But I do like that Walmart does sell Hamish products. Just not the full range, well, not in my store. So this has been on my hand for a while. I feel like, you know, with some pulling, I'm getting minimal smudging, but I really feel like it has set down. And I like that. I'm gonna try and keep my eyes open. I did pick up another eyeliner. This is one from the Sephora collection. This is the 24-hour colorful crayon eye pencil, and this is the shade Cocoa Shimmer. So this is a brown, but it's supposed to be a metallic brown. It doesn't look terribly metallic to me. I'm not getting shimmer, I'm getting dark brown. All right. And this is one that you have to sharpen. The one from Makeup Forever is one that you twist up. I'm gonna let this set and we'll see whether it smudges later. I think I'm just gonna put on another layer of gloss and call it good. I'll drop this in my scrubs pocket and take it to work for when I take my mask off. And this way, it's such a light shade and it is nourishing that if it kind of gets outside a little bit, you're really not gonna be able to tell. So in my scrubs pocket it goes. This is such an easy but predictable look for me for work. So predictable, you know. bronzy cheeks and easy eyes and, you know, just a little bit of brows. I feel like on days when I am not working and I know I'm not going to be in and out of a mask, the only thing I have to worry about is the nose prints on the bridge of my nose from a pair of sunglasses. Sometimes if they've been on for a while and they keep sliding down, I'll get like a little bit like I have really big lenses and they press into my cheek here. They don't always. I should take them in to get adjusted so they don't do that. But normally my makeup is pretty bulletproof and I don't have to be as careful and persnickety with setting powders and setting spray. But for a work day, I have to be careful what I choose. Hence the tubing mascara, fully powdering my face, like all the things that I do for longevity. And I'm really hoping that I don't, you know, so far I am not getting transfer to my lower waterline. It's been at least 2 minutes and this really isn't transferring. There might have been like a little glob there, but I feel like it's mostly set. I think this is actually going to be good. I think, yeah, there was an extra chunk there that hadn't dried down all the way. But I feel like even that Sephora liner has really, really good potential. And here I am, you know, with a wipe, and they're hard to budge. I think these are the sort of things that you're going to want, like a dual phase eye makeup remover or a cleansing balm or cleansing oil to break up at the end of the day. And that's what I'm looking for, something that's really going to stay tight. I'll have to try this one from Sephora on a separate day, but I kind of like the way that this look turned out. Let me know what sort of products are your go-to. Do you have a favorite eyeliner? Are you curious about this new foundation stick? What sort of looks do you go to? Like, what are your go-tos for a work day? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you again soon.